So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how you can grow your channel when starting from zero. So of course, there's things such as picking a niche, uploading consistently, and picking a good thumbnail. But I'm going to be covering some topics that aren't really spoken about by all these other videos. And of course, depending on when you're watching this, I have 0 subscribers myself. I'm actually starting out from 0 myself. Um, I'm basically making this video so that I can look back at this in 5 years' time and, kind of see whether or not, what I've actually spoken about in this video is legit or not. So without further ado, let's get into the first point. So point number 1 is appeal to pioneers with uniqueness. So when you're starting out from 0, you don't have the reputation or the skin in the game like these other established channels do. So, what do you have to offer? And that is your uniqueness and, your authentic perspectives. And that plays in part with pioneers because when you are starting out from 0, most people, they're going to see a channel with 0 subscribers, 0 views, and they're going to just, say to themselves, why would I waste my time when I can watch a channel that's already established with millions of views? So they give your channel a miss. Very so often, a pioneer will come across your channel, and usually these pioneers, they've basically watched all the videos surrounding your chosen subject, and so they kind of know what most of these channels are saying, and they're basically looking for a unique perspective. So that's where you come into it. If you can offer a unique perspective to these pioneers, they're not going to skip over your channel, whereas if you start a channel from 0 and you're just saying the same things that all these other established channels are gonna say, even the pioneers are gonna look at your videos and say, okay, well, I could either watch this channel that's starting from 0, that's saying the same things as everyone else, or I could go back to watching established channels who have, better production and reputation. So yeah, if by appealing to the pioneers, that's where you're basically going to, build your channel, because the pioneers essentially build your channel to the point where, your channel then is appealing to the masses. So the second point is going to be have a central place. What I mean by a central place is basically one place where all your content is produced. And considering you're watching this video, I'm going to assume that your one central place is going to be your YouTube channel. And why a central place is good to have is it just makes it easier for you when you're producing content to have one place where all your content is going to be on. And it makes it easier for the viewers so they don't have to figure out if, your central place is going to be your YouTube channel or your Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, whatever. And central places are really, everywhere if you think about it. So one example would be Amazon. Um, Amazon.com, you'll see advertisements everywhere. You'll see ads on TV, billboards, or even people just talking about Amazon.com. But really the goal of, the advertisement and everything else is to drive you to the one place, which is Amazon.com. And you also see this with YouTube channels as well, with YouTubers. You know, YouTuber might have, Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, but all of these social media accounts, their goal is to drive you to their one central place, which is their YouTube channel. And having a central place isn't necessarily one thing, Another example would be music artists. Their central place is their music, even though their music is on multiple streaming platforms or even in physical format. And so yeah, the reason why having a central place is good is because you can use, your social media accounts to kind of basically bring the audience in and drive them to your central place. the way I like to think of it is like, if you ever seen a shop where, you've got the shop and then you've got guys standing outside spinning a sign to kind of entice the customers to come inside. The guy spinning the sign to bring the people into the shop. That is basically what, you know, your social media accounts will be. Their goal is to basically drive the audience to your central place, which in this case is your YouTube channel. So point number 3 is passion first, always. If you look at any industry, all the best paid people put passion first, and they understand that money is just a byproduct when you put passion first. You know, whilst I'm sure Warren Buffett loves the money, he does what he does because he loves this, and I'm willing to bet that he was just as excited making his first 1 billion as he was when he made his first 1,000. And this brings me on to the fact that you have to have fun whilst you're doing this, and you have to be willing to do this for free. Otherwise you won't make it. You know, having fun whilst you're doing this gives you more success, because if you're actually having fun doing what you're doing, you're going to put more effort into it. And obviously, more effort tends to lead to higher quality content than, if you weren't doing this for fun. So, if you're having fun, maybe you should rethink, if this is actually what you want to do. If you just put money first, if you just do this with just money on your mind first before passion, you're either going to lose interest, or you're going to get overtaken by someone that actually does love to do what you're doing. And the reason why is because, you know, regardless of what's happening, they're driven by the passion, which means that they're always going to do this, whether or not they're making money, whether or not they're successful. Whereas if you have money first in your mind, and, you're not making money because, when you start out, you're not going to make money, because you're not making money, obviously that's the thing that's actually driving you. And since there's none of it, you're going to lose interest. And, of course, the person that put passion first is going to overtake you. And they're actually going to get money because, they understand that money is just a byproduct of putting passion first. So my current job as an engineer, I used to go around to many businesses in London, and pretty much all of these businesses I'd never heard of before, but they were all really successful. They're all doing really well. And that basically taught me that, you know, you don't have to be the best in your industry or in your sector to make a living off this. You just have to be the best at what you do. And, luckily no one is better at being you than you.